If you are hearing these words, it is not by accident. You are here because something inside you has been calling quietly, persistently, like a whisper you can't ignore anymore. It's the whisper of your soul, and it's telling you, there's more than the life you've been living, more than the limits you've been told to accept, more than the doubts, the fears, the walls you've built around yourself. You might not even remember when it started. Maybe it was the moment you realized you were tired of struggling, or the day you caught yourself saying, there has to be another way. Or maybe it's been building for years, hidden beneath the noise of everyday life. But here you are, listening, open, ready, and I want you to understand this. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, not always as a person, sometimes as a message, sometimes as a sentence that hits you so deeply, it feels like it was written only for you. This is that moment. Florence Scovel Shinn called it divine appointment, the perfect alignment of time, place, and message. And that's exactly what's happening now. Your soul has been preparing for this awakening. You have been tested, stretched, humbled. You have faced the same challenges again and again, wondering why the cycle never breaks. And that's because life will repeat the same lesson until you rise to the level of consciousness that transcends it. Right now, you are being called to rise. You see, most people wait for change to happen to them. They hope, they wish, they daydream, but they never step into the authority of their own words, their own thoughts, their own spiritual law. Florence taught that your word is your wand, that the things you speak, backed by faith, set invisible forces into motion. Your reality begins to rearrange itself the moment your speech aligns with divine truth. And here is the truth. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are a spiritual being, backed by the full force of divine supply. And when you speak in alignment with God's law, nothing and no one can stand in the way of your good. The problem? We've been trained to speak the wrong words, to affirm lack, to agree with fear, to declare what we don't want, and then wonder why it keeps showing up. Your awakening begins the moment you realize this, the moment you understand that every word is a seed, and that your life is the harvest. If you've been planting weeds with your speech, don't expect roses to bloom. But here's the beautiful thing, the moment you decide, you can plant something new. You can choose to speak words of faith instead of fear, words of abundance instead of lack, words of victory instead of defeat. And when you do, you set in motion what Florence called the law of growth. The spiritual principle that every seed you plant, nurtured with belief, must come forth in its own perfect season. But the first step is to wake up, to stop living on autopilot, to stop letting your mind be a magnet for the same tired patterns, to stop agreeing with the version of yourself that was shaped by other people's fears. Right now, I want you to hear me. You are not the old story you've been telling. You are not the labels you've worn. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are a child of God. And that means the same infinite wisdom that spins the planets and paints the sunrise lives in you. This is not just inspiration, it's law, divine law, and divine law does not fail, but you must claim it. You must rise up and speak it. You must stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be who you already are. So let me ask you, what would happen if, starting today, you refused to speak a single word that did not agree with your vision? What if you caught yourself before you said, I can't, or I don't have, or it's not possible? What if every time you spoke, you planted something powerful into the soil of your life? You would begin to see the shift. Not in months, not in years, but now, because life responds instantly to new vibration. Your words carry frequency, your thoughts carry command, and the moment they align with truth, doors start opening. Florence said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Whatever you send out in thought, in word, in belief comes back to you. Your awakening is about becoming conscious of what you're sending. From this moment forward, let this be your declaration. I now awaken to my divine inheritance. I now speak only what I desire to see. I now walk in faith, knowing the unseen is already arranging my good. I am ready. I am willing. I am awake. Say it out loud. Let your own ears hear the sound of your authority, because when you do, you're not just talking, you're creating. The call to awakening isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about deciding that this moment is perfect enough, that you are ready enough, that God's supply is already enough. So breathe, feel the shift happening even now, and know, the moment you woke up, the universe took notice. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's here, and it begins the instant you accept the call. The law behind every breakthrough is not about force, it is not about pushing harder, climbing faster, or trying to bend life into your timetable. It is about the moment you stop wrestling with the current and allow yourself to be carried by it. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the law of non-resistance. It is the quiet knowing that what belongs to you will come, and what is not meant for you will drift away without your loss. Resistance in the spiritual realm is not a visible wall. It is an invisible knot in the mind and heart. It is the fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. It is the doubt that whispers you are running out of time. It is the need to control every detail because you do not yet trust the greater hand that arranges them. But the truth is, this, as long as your fists are clenched, you cannot receive the gift that has been waiting for you. A tightly closed hand can grasp it, it cannot hold abundance, it can cling, but it cannot open to new life. You may believe that struggle is noble, that fighting through force will bring your breakthrough faster. Yet the law works in the opposite direction. The more you resist what is, the more energy you feed into what you do not want. Your attention becomes a magnet. Every thought charged with fear or frustration reinforces the very condition you are trying to escape. The river does not widen its banks for the one who thrashes against it. It carries the one who surrenders. Divine timing is the other half of this law. It is the great clock that never runs ahead and never falls behind. You cannot rush it, and you cannot delay it when you are in harmony with it. Every unfolding is exact, every arrival is perfect. This is not passive waiting, it is active trust. It is moving with the current instead of against it, confident that the unseen tide knows the shore far better than you. Picture a flower in early spring. You cannot pry its petals open with your hands and expect beauty to emerge. You would destroy it by your impatience, but if you give it light, water, and time, it will open in a way that seems effortless. That is divine timing. Your breakthrough is the same. It blooms when the inner conditions are right, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. When you resist, you delay. You set up obstacles in a path that was already clear. You tighten the knot that life is trying to untie. But when you release, you accelerate. You dissolve the barrier. You open the invisible gate where your good was already waiting. This is why Florence taught that non-resistance is not weakness. It is the most powerful stance you can take, because it aligns you with the law, instead of opposing it. Look within and see where your grip is too tight. Are you holding on to a plan that is not working, afraid to admit it? Are you replaying the same worry every night, believing that thinking about it harder will produce an answer? Are you measuring your worth by a clock that is not divine, telling yourself you are behind? These are the forms of resistance, and they can be released in an instant when you choose. Non-resistance does not mean you stop moving toward your vision. It means you stop pushing against the way life is unfolding to bring it to you. You act from inspiration, not desperation. You speak from faith, not fear. You step aside from the struggle and let the divine orchestra arrange every instrument into harmony. There is a way to practice this. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine holding something in your hands so tightly that your knuckles ache. Feel the strain. This is what your energy feels like when you are in resistance. Now, slowly uncurl your fingers. Feel the space open. Feel the relief. This is the posture of reception. This is the signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. The affirmation is simple but powerful. Speak it with authority. I release the struggle. What is mine flows to me now in perfect time. Let the words be more than sound. Let them be permission. Permission for the tide to change, for the path to clear, for the hour to strike exactly when it should. Repeat it until the part of you that clings begins to loosen. Repeat it until you no longer feel the need to force outcomes into being. When you live in this way, your outer life begins to mirror the peace within. You notice the river carrying you to opportunities without strain. You witness doors opening without your knocking. You feel time as an ally, not an enemy. You realize that nothing you are meant to have will pass you by, and nothing that leaves your hands was ever truly yours to keep. And yet, this is where so many souls stumble. Not because the law fails, but because the mind is addicted to control. Because surrender feels like loss until you taste the freedom it brings. Because fear still whispers that if you let go, there will be nothing to catch you. But the moment you dare to trust the invisible, you discover it was holding you all along. There is no force in the universe greater than alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your trust are in harmony with the divine clock, breakthroughs happen without the struggle you thought was necessary. The golden sand in the hourglass does not pause for fear. nor does it rush for impatience. It falls in perfect rhythm, and when the last grain lands, the door swings open. So take a breath, let it be deep and slow. Imagine the current beneath you. Feel yourself relax into it. Let go of the frantic swim toward a shore you cannot see. Let the river carry you, and as you float, remember your breakthrough is not somewhere out ahead, waiting for you to chase it. It is already on its way, moving toward you on the perfect tide. And now, we turn to the truth that will free you from the final chains holding you back, why so many never step into the breakthrough that is already theirs, and how you will be among those who do. There is a wall between you and your breakthrough, but it is not made of stone, it is made of thought. It is built from silent agreements you never knew. You signed contracts written in fear, sealed in unworthiness, and reinforced by every moment you told yourself, maybe I can't. This wall is invisible to the eye but undeniable to the soul. You feel it every time you take a step forward only to meet an unseen barrier. You feel it in the hesitation before you act, in the doubt that follows inspiration, in the quiet voice that tells you it's safer to stay where you are. The deepest block is not outside you. It is the unconscious agreement with limitation. Somewhere, in the hidden chambers of the mind, you accepted a belief about what is possible for you, and without realizing it, you have been loyal to that belief. Fear has been your guard, keeping you from venturing too far. Self-doubt has been your warden, convincing you that the prison is protection. Unworthiness has been the silent architect, adding bricks to a wall you do not need. Picture a bird in a cage with the door wide open. The air is free, the sky is endless, yet the bird stays perched inside, not because the bars hold it, but because the memory of being trapped has become stronger than the vision of being free. That is the hidden wall. You could walk through it today, but the mind still whispers, it's not safe, and so you stay. This wall is built from repeated, inner statements and unquestioned thoughts. Every time you told yourself you weren't ready, a brick was laid. Every time you replayed a past failure, another layer was added. Every time you compared yourself to someone else and decided you fell short, the wall grew higher, and because the wall is invisible, you began to think it was life itself blocking you, not your own agreement with those thoughts, but the moment you see it, you have the power to dismantle it. This is where the law of substitution comes in, the spiritual law that declares you cannot hold two opposing thoughts in the mind at the same time. When a negative statement rises, it can be replaced instantly with the divine truth. You do not wrestle the old thought into submission. You simply choose another. When fear says, I'm not ready, you substitute, I was made for this moment. When doubt says, it's too late, you substitute, I arrive always in perfect time. When unworthiness says, this is not for me, you substitute, I am worthy of my breakthrough. I walk through the open gate into my good. The more you practice, the weaker the wall becomes. This is not self-deception. This is self-liberation. The mind will believe whatever it is told with conviction. You have been telling it the wrong story for too long. Now you will tell it the truth. You are not small. You are not late. You are not unworthy. You are a divine creation, equipped with the exact gifts needed for the path ahead. See the wall in your mind now. Notice its height, its thickness. Notice how real it feels. Now, take a breath and imagine a single ray of light touching it. That light is the new thought you choose. Watch as it spreads across the surface, dissolving the shadow, loosening the mortar. With each breath, more light enters. The bricks lose their weight. The wall becomes transparent, until finally, there is nothing left between you and your breakthrough but air. Some will tell you that dismantling the wall takes years, but in truth, the wall is not a thing that needs time to crumble. It is a veil that vanishes the moment you withdraw your agreement with it. Inner alignment can shift in an instant. The door of the cage was always open. The wall was always made of thought, and thought changes the moment you choose to change it. The reason so many live behind this wall is because they wait for the outer world to prove it is safe before they act. But safety is not the seed. Safety is the fruit. It grows after you step forward, not before. And so the leap must come first. You walk through the open gate into your good, not because you have every detail figured out, but because you trust that what is yours will meet you the moment you arrive. If you want to begin dissolving the wall right now, here is a simple practice for one day. Notice every limiting statement you make in your mind. Do not judge yourself for them. Simply notice, then, without delay, speak its opposite aloud with authority. Feel the energy shift in your body when you do. That shift is the sound of the wall losing its power over you. There will be moments when the old voice returns, trying to lure you back into the cage. That is not failure. That is simply the echo of your old agreement fading away. Do not negotiate with it. Replace it. Every time you substitute truth for limitation, you are writing a new contract with life, one where freedom is your default and possibility is your inheritance. You do not need to beg for your breakthrough. You do not need to force it. You only need to remove what stands between you and it. And most often, that barrier is not the world. It is the wall of thought you have been loyal to without knowing it. Stand before the wall now in your mind's eye. Place your hand upon it. Say within yourself, I release my agreement with limitation. See the wall dissolve into light. See the horizon open before you, and take a step forward, even if it is only in your imagination, for that is where all movement begins. And as you step, remember, the wall can disappear in the time it takes to choose a different thought. The gate is open, the sky is waiting, and the moment you align within, the breakthrough you have been chasing will meet you halfway. Now, let us turn to the sacred mechanics of that inner shift, the instant where thought, feeling, and spirit move into harmony, and the breakthrough you once hoped for becomes the reality you live in. There is a silent gate in the landscape of your soul. It does not swing open with force. It does not yield to pleading. It opens in the instant you step into full acceptance that what you desire is already yours in spirit. This is the gate of acceptance. It is not a future event. It is not waiting for better timing. It exists in the eternal now, and it responds not to desperation, but to alignment. The breakthrough you seek is already formed in the invisible. It is a completed work in the divine mind. When you are still saying, I hope it will happen, you are standing outside the gate. Peering in. Hope is a beginning, but it is not the key. The key is the pivot from I hope to I know, from someday to now, from I wish to I receive. This pivot is the inner shift. It is the moment the soul says, without hesitation, it is mine. Imagine standing before a massive golden gate. Behind it is the life you have prayed for, the joy you have envisioned, the peace you have yearned for. You place your hand on the key and turn it. There is no resistance. The mechanism moves as though it was always waiting for you. The heavy door swings wide, not with a creak, but with the sound of music being released from a sealed hall. Sunlight floods the path before you. This is what happens when the heart moves from longing into possession in consciousness. The law of non-resistance says that we do not wrestle with the manifestation. We rest in the certainty of its arrival. When you know, you do not push. When you know, you do not chase. You walk forward in the quiet power of one who has already received. This is not pretending. This is aligning with the truth that in the unseen, your desire is complete. Close your eyes for a moment. See yourself before that golden gate. The air is warm with the fragrance of possibility. The metal glows as though lit from within. You place your hands on the gate and feel it respond instantly to your touch. It swings open without effort, revealing a horizon so radiant you feel it in your bones. You take a step forward, your feet sinking slightly into sunlit ground, your heart expanding with each breath. Everything ahead feels like home because it is home. You have arrived in the place your spirit has always known. Whisper now, in the language of certainty, what I seek is seeking me. I now claim my good, and rejoice in its manifestation. Feel those words settle into your being, not as a hope, but as a truth, not as a request, but as a declaration. The mind may try to return to questions. It may say, but how will it happen? When will it happen? This is where the inner mastery comes in. You do not answer those questions with logic. You answer them with alignment. It is happening now in the unseen. It will appear in perfect form and perfect timing. You anchor yourself in the knowing that divine timing is never late and never wrong. This is not about convincing yourself through strain. It is about allowing yourself to rest in the same way you rest after planting a seed in fertile soil. You do not dig it up to see if it is growing. You know that it is. The gate of acceptance opens to those who treat their desire as already growing, already forming, already alive. One of the most powerful tools to maintain this state is sacred self-talk. Begin each day with a declaration that matches the life you are stepping into. Speak as if you have crossed the gate already. I am walking in my answered prayer. I am living in my fulfilled vision. My good is established and cannot be taken from me. These words are not empty affirmations. They are keys turning in the lock. Every time you speak them, pair your words with visualization. Each time you close your eyes and see yourself inside the life you desire, you are strengthening your inner claim to it. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, let your body experience it as real. The subconscious mind responds to images and feelings more than to logic, and when it accepts a thing as real, it sets in motion everything needed to make it visible. There may be moments when doubt approaches. Do not resist it with fear. Greet it with substitution. If the thought comes, what if it doesn't happen? Respond instantly. It is already mine. It is already here. If the thought says, maybe I'm not ready, answer, I was created ready for my good. This is the law of substitution, in practice replacing the shadow before it can take root. The inner shift is not a dramatic event. It is often quiet, almost imperceptible to the world. But within you, it is as though a compass has turned. Before, you were wandering. Now, you are walking directly toward the life that belongs to you, and as you walk, life begins to walk toward you. Doors open that you did not even knock on. People arrive who carry pieces of your answered prayer. Opportunities flow without struggle because you are no longer pushing against the current. You are moving with it. This is why the gate of acceptance is so powerful. It does not respond to effort, but to surrender. Not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of receiving. It is the sacred release of all timelines, all demands, all proof, in favor of the quiet confidence that the divine has already made the way. Stand now in the place of knowing. Let your words match your vision. Let your heart match your words. Let your steps match your heart. This is the alignment that keeps the gate open, and once open, it does not close unless you turn back into doubt. Keep walking, keep affirming, keep seeing. From this place, we can now move into the daily practices that anchor this shift in the fabric of your life. Practices that turn the momentary glimpse into a permanent way of being. Practices that make the gate not just something you pass through, but a doorway you live within. The moment you cross the gate of acceptance, the energy shifts, but to keep it open, to live in that space where the breakthrough becomes your natural reality, you must tend to the soil of your consciousness daily. A seed, once planted, must be nurtured until it blooms. Without care, weeds of doubt can creep in. With care, it grows unstoppable. That care comes through sacred tools, not occasional practices, but living rituals that seal your breakthrough into the fabric of your life. There are 3 tools that hold this power. 3 daily companions that ensure your inner shift becomes permanent. The first is the morning declaration ritual. Words are seeds. Every morning is fresh soil. When you speak with authority at the start of your day, you set the tone for the hours ahead. You command your inner atmosphere before the world speaks to you. Stand in front of a mirror, shoulders open, gaze steady. Let your voice carry not hope, but certainty. Say, I walk today in my answered prayer. The doors I step through are already open. My good is established and cannot be taken from me. Feel the words vibrate through your body. This is not casual affirmation. This is the power of the tongue in action, aligning your vibration with your desired reality before you take a single step into the world. The law of non-resistance is woven here, for you are not fighting your day. You are harmonizing with it from the first breath. To deepen the ritual, speak a Florence-style declaration. Infinite Spirit, I thank you that my desires are already fulfilled in perfect ways. What I seek is seeking me. I now rejoice in my divine good, which appears with ease. Speak it until the edges of doubt dissolve. Each word you plant will germinate in the unseen, shaping events before you encounter them. The second tool is the breakthrough journal. The mind forgets what the soul knows. When manifestations arrive, whether they are small signs or grand shifts, they must be recorded. This journal becomes your living record of answered prayers. Each page is a testimony that strengthens your faith. The act of writing is a form of acknowledgement, telling the universe, I see you, I thank you, I receive. Keep this journal close. At night, write down every evidence of alignment, the unexpected opportunity, the encouraging word, the inner peace that replaced anxiety. Over time, the pages will bloom like a flourishing garden. Each entry a flower that reminds you the harvest is real. In your breakthrough journal, you also write your ongoing intentions as if they are already fulfilled. Use language that leaves no room for delay. I am now living in my dream home, surrounded by beauty and peace. I now walk in radiant health, every cell alive with divine perfection. This is the law of substitution at work, replacing the old story with a living narrative of truth. As you reread these entries, you reinforce the inner reality until the outer must match it. The third tool is the visualization anchor. This is the mental movie you replay every day, the sacred cinema of your fulfilled life. Close your eyes and step into the scene as if it is now. Feel your hand touch the walls of the home you love. Hear the sound of your laughter in rooms filled with warmth. Smell the fragrance of the garden you've planted. Let your senses soak in every detail. Then, seal it with emotion, the gratitude, the relief, the joy that says, I am here, this is mine. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. When it accepts a thing as real, it begins rearranging everything to match that reality. Your visualization anchor is not daydreaming, it is purposeful alignment. 5 minutes a day is enough when you enter fully into the experience. Like watering a plant, you do it consistently, not to force growth, but to sustain it, and each time, you end with a Florence-style affirmation. I now live in the reality of my desire. I give thanks that it is so, and so it is. These three tools work together like the elements of a thriving garden. The morning declaration is the planting of the seed each day, strong and deliberate. The breakthrough journal is the careful tending, pulling out weeds of doubt by remembering every sign of growth. The visualization anchor is the watering, keeping the soil moist with emotion and faith until the bloom bursts into view. Guard these practices as you would guard a precious seedling from harsh winds. Life will test your resolve. There will be days when nothing appears to be changing. On those days, the tools are your anchor. You do not skip them because the results are unseen. You keep them because the unseen is where all results are born. In moments when impatience tries to creep in, remember the law of divine timing. The divine does not rush, yet it never delays. Your role is not to force the bloom open before its season. Your role is to keep the environment fertile, knowing that what you have planted must come forth in perfect form. Here is a short prayer to weave into your practice. Infinite Spirit, I thank you that my desires are safe in your keeping. I trust your perfect timing. I rest in the certainty that my harvest is sure. Say it slowly, letting each word drop like rain into the soil of your consciousness. When you begin each day with the morning declaration, you declare yourself sovereign over your atmosphere. When you close each day with the breakthrough journal, you seal gratitude into your subconscious. When you hold your visualization anchor, you keep your inner world aligned with your outer destiny. Together, these practices do more than maintain your shift, they expand it. They draw in more than you originally imagined, because the divine always multiplies the seed. And here is the most sacred truth. The more consistent you are with these tools, the swifter the divine moves. Reality begins to rearrange in ways you could never have planned. People cross your path who hold keys to the next door. Resources appear without strain. Opportunities find you because you are now a match for them. You are no longer waiting for your breakthrough. You are living in it, nurturing it, and watching it grow. From here, the path becomes lighter. You are not pushing the river, you are flowing with it. Each day you use these tools, the energy of your breakthrough becomes stronger, more visible, more inevitable. Soon, the question will no longer be, when will it come? But how will I hold all this good? And that, beloved, is the question the next chapter will answer. There comes a moment when the air changes. You cannot always explain it, but you feel it. A lightness in your chest, a stillness in your thoughts. It is the silent announcement that something you have prayed for is drawing near. The divine always signals before it delivers. The signs are whispers of a promise about to be fulfilled. Imagine walking toward a festival hidden beyond the hills. You cannot see it yet, but you hear the distant music. The rhythm grows louder with each step. The laughter rides the wind toward you. Joy reaches your heart before the event reaches your eyes. So it is with your breakthrough. The melody of your answered prayer arrives before the form appears. And if you are listening, you will know. The first sign is unusual peace. Not the peace of everything going smoothly, but the peace that remains even when nothing has changed on the outside. It is the law of non-resistance alive within you. You stop wrestling with the how and when. You stop forcing the bloom to open. You simply know it will. This peace is the divine telling you. It is handled. When you feel it, you are already standing at the edge of manifestation. The second sign is the repetition of symbols. Perhaps you keep seeing the same number, hearing the same phrase, or encountering the same image. These are markers from the divine, a cosmic breadcrumb trail. They remind you that you are on the exact path you need to be. If a certain word, animal, or image keeps appearing, pause and honor it. Whisper, I see you, I thank you. This acknowledgement strengthens the alignment. The third sign is unexpected invitations. You are called into rooms you did not plan to enter. Someone you have not spoken to in years reaches out with an offer. A conversation opens a door you didn't know existed. This is the divine rearranging people and circumstances to usher in your good. Do not dismiss these moments as coincidence. They are divine orchestration in motion. The fourth sign is the sudden release of old burdens. You may find yourself no longer bothered by things that used to weigh heavily on you. An old resentment dissolves overnight. A fear you have carried for years feels irrelevant. This is your inner garden making space for the bloom. Breakthrough cannot share space with the energy of bondage. When release comes, it is a sure sign that the new is pushing through. There is also the moment of sudden clarity. You see your next step without overthinking it. The fog lifts. The decision you have been circling becomes obvious. Divine timing does not bring only the opportunity, it also brings the clarity to receive it without hesitation. When these signs appear, you must treat them as sacred. They are not random. They are the divine's way of saying, prepare yourself, your harvest is near. The more you honor these signals, the stronger their presence becomes to help you anchor this awareness. Begin capturing these signs in writing. Use your breakthrough journal, not only for manifestations already received, but for these divine hints. At the end of the day, reflect and write, what did I see, hear, or feel today that hinted at my breakthrough? How did peace show up in my heart, even if my circumstances were unchanged? What symbols or synchronicities visited me today? What invitations or unexpected opportunities crossed my path? What old burden lifted from my shoulders? By documenting them, you train your mind to recognize the divine orchestra at work in your life. You become a sharper witness to your own unfolding story. And as Florence Scovel Shinn taught, what you notice with gratitude multiplies. Thank in advance. Do not wait until the form appears. When you hear the distant music, begin to dance. When the feather falls before you, receive it as a signature of the divine. When the light breaks through the clouds, lift your face toward it and whisper, I know what you are saying, I am ready. There is a sacred affirmation you can speak when these signs appear. I recognize the signs of my good. I am ready, receptive, and grateful now. Speak it aloud, feeling the words vibrate in your chest. Speak it as if the door has already opened. This readiness is not passive, it is an active state of receptivity. It is clearing space in your calendar for the opportunity you know is coming. It is tidying the room for the blessing you are about to host. It is making decisions as if the breakthrough has already landed in your hands. The divine responds to this readiness. When you hold yourself in a posture of anticipation without desperation, the unseen accelerates. The festival you heard in the distance comes into view. You find yourself in the center of its music and joy, realizing the journey has brought you exactly here. Recognizing the signs is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. It is an invitation to deepen your faith, to speak in harmony with your destiny, and to remove anything from your life that contradicts it. If peace has arrived, do not let worry re-enter. If symbols have appeared, do not dismiss them as chance. If burdens have lifted, do not pick them up again. This awareness transforms the waiting into celebration. You stop counting the days and start collecting the signs. Each one is proof that your prayer has already been answered in the invisible. You are simply watching the delivery unfold in perfect sequence in this space. Gratitude becomes your constant companion. You give thanks not for what you hope might happen, but for what you know is inevitable. You speak it in the morning, carry it through the afternoon, and rest in it at night. Gratitude is not the closing act. It is the signal to the divine that you are ready to receive more. And that is where we go next. For the more you live in gratitude for the signs and the blessing they point to, the more the blessing multiplies until it overflows. There is a moment after the signs have spoken, and the air is heavy with promise when one final act remains. This act is not about chasing, not about waiting with clenched hands, but about unlocking the door that stands between potential and reality. That act is sacred gratitude. Gratitude is not simply a polite thank you after the gift has been placed in your hands. It is the spiritual voltage that calls the gift into form. It is not reaction. It is activation. In the divine order, the grateful heart does not wait to see before it feels, and because it feels, it sees. Picture your life as a garden, the seeds of your prayers planted deep within the soil of the unseen. Gratitude is the sunlight that draws them upward. Without it, they remain dormant, waiting for the warmth that tells them it is safe to grow. With it, they push through the soil, reaching toward the open sky. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man can only receive what he praises. Praise magnetizes the thing you seek. It affirms that you already live in possession of it in the invisible realm. When you praise and thank before you see, you are using the law of non-resistance, refusing to struggle with time or appearances. You are standing as one who knows the invisible is more real than the visible. Think of gratitude as the key to a silent gate of destiny. The gate does not open for demand or fear. It opens when the vibration of your heart matches the truth of your desire fulfilled. Each word of thanks you speak is a turn of the key. And when the gate swings open, the flow of your good rushes toward you like a river, finally unblocked. This is why we create the sacred declaration ceremony, a deliberate, holy act, where you seal your breakthrough with your words and your feeling. You stand in the presence of your own soul, and you declare from a place of certainty, not hope. This is not a performance, it is a spiritual transaction. Begin by standing with your feet grounded, your shoulders relaxed, your eyes gently closed. Imagine a sunrise breaking over mountains, its light spilling across your face. See that light not as distant but as coming from within you. In this light, you are already living the answered prayer. You are already walking the path that your breakthrough has opened. Then speak the declaration slowly, feeling each word settle into the deepest soil of your mind. I now rejoice in the manifestation of my good. It is complete, perfect, and mine by divine right. Say it again, but this time, let your breath expand with the words. Let joy rise in your chest like a wave. You are not asking for it to happen. You are confirming that it is already so. You are aligning your voice with the voice of the divine within you. The ceremony is not complete without embodiment. Gratitude is not a concept to hold in your head, it is a state to inhabit in your body. Stand as one who has already received. Smile as if you are holding the blessing in your hands. Walk as if the path has already cleared. Make decisions as one who lives in the reality of answered prayer. When you embody the breakthrough in feeling before you see it in form, you are practicing the law of substitution. You are replacing thoughts of lack with thoughts of fulfillment, replacing the posture of waiting with the posture of possession. In that state, you are broadcasting to the divine and to the universe. This is who I am now. This is my reality now. To deepen the experience, add a brief prayer. Divine Spirit, I thank you that my good is here now. I thank you that it is perfect, that it is right, that it is complete. I release all need to force or to doubt. I stand in joy, and I walk in the light of what you have already given. You may feel a warmth in your chest, a softening in your breath, or an unshakable calm. These are signs the ceremony is working. You have shifted from hoping to knowing, from striving to receiving. This sacred act also carries a victorious joy. Gratitude is not quiet submission. It is the triumphant sound of your soul, acknowledging that the battle is already won. It is the song you sing as you cross the threshold into your new life. Let yourself speak your gratitude often, but without strain. Whisper it while pouring your morning tea. Speak it while walking into a meeting. Let it accompany you in the small moments, until gratitude is no longer something you do but something you are. In this state, the divine timing of your manifestation accelerates. Opportunities appear that match the energy you carry. People respond to you differently. The path ahead glows with clarity because you are no longer seeking light, you are radiating it. Some will ask, what if I feel grateful now and nothing changes? The truth is, something always changes when gratitude is genuine. The first shift is always within, and once the inner shifts, the outer must follow, because the outer is only the reflection of the inner. When you live in the vibration of gratitude, you are not waiting for life to prove itself to you. You are proving to life that you are ready. The divine cannot withhold from the open hand, and gratitude is the most open hand of all. This is why the sacred declaration ceremony is not a one-time act but a way of life. Each time you speak it, you reinforce the reality of your breakthrough until it is impossible to doubt. Each time you feel it, you water the seed of your answered prayer until it must bloom. Stand in your sunrise, Lift your hands into the light. Speak your declaration again. I now rejoice in the manifestation of my good. It is complete, perfect, and mine by divine right. Let the words be the seal, the key, and the crown of your journey. You have not only believed, you have received. You have not only asked, you have declared. And now, you walk forward into the new life beyond the breakthrough, the chapter that unfolds when you live as one who knows the divine is never late, never withholding, never failing to deliver what is yours by right of consciousness. From here, the story changes, not because life has suddenly become perfect, but because you carry the light of answered prayer wherever you go. You speak with the authority of one who has witnessed divine faithfulness. You live not in the shadow of waiting but in the full brilliance of fulfillment. This is the sacred act that completes your breakthrough, not the arrival of the form, but the arrival of the knowing that it is already yours. From this knowing, everything flows, and the life beyond it is waiting to be lived. The dawn of your new life is not loud. It does not arrive with trumpets or flashing signs. It comes quietly, like sunlight spilling over the edge of a long-shadowed valley, touching the path before you in gold. You take your first step, and the ground feels different, lighter, certain, solid beneath your feet, because it is no longer the ground of uncertainty, but of promise fulfilled. This is the walk after the breakthrough. It is not about grasping for what you desire anymore. It is about living as if it has always been yours. It is the way of divine confidence, the kind that does not shout to be heard but carries a deep, steady knowing. You have crossed the silent gate of destiny, and now the landscape is open before you. Every day becomes a co-creation with the infinite. No action feels random. No moment is without meaning. The air itself seems to hum with possibility, because you now know you are not moving through life alone. You are walking hand in hand with the same divine intelligence that breathed your breakthrough into being. The law of non-resistance guides your steps. You no longer push against circumstances or force outcomes. You flow with the current of divine timing, trusting that the stream knows exactly where it is carrying you. The resistance you once held has dissolved, replaced by a surrender that is not weakness, but power. It is the quiet strength of one who knows the universe is conspiring for their good. See yourself as a traveler on an open, sunlit road. The valley is behind you, its shadows fading into memory. Before you stretches an unbroken horizon, a path wide enough to walk freely without fear of losing your way. You feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the breeze carrying the fragrance of new beginnings. The journey ahead is not about survival anymore. It is about expansion, to anchor this new way of living. Create a commitment practice each morning. The moment you open your eyes, speak your identity into the day. Let your first words be words that align you with the reality you now claim. Stand before a mirror, meet your own gaze, and affirm, I walk in my good, I live in my blessing. My path is clear and my supply is sure. Do not rush the words, feel them. Let each sentence sink into your bones until it shapes the way you breathe, the way you carry yourself, the way you see the world. You are not hoping for these truths to become real. You are declaring them as the only reality you will accept. Visualize yourself moving through your day as one who has already received. See yourself making decisions with clarity. See opportunities flowing to you naturally. See resources appearing in perfect time. When a challenge arises, instead of shrinking back, picture yourself standing taller, knowing the solution already exists and is finding its way to you. This is the law of substitution in action, replacing every image of lack with a vision of abundance, every thought of fear with a thought of certainty. You train your mind to default to the vibration of answered prayer, until doubt finds no place to land. The more you walk in this way, the more life begins to mirror your inner posture. Conversations shift. People respond to you with a new openness. Doors you once knocked on without answer now open before you without effort. The outer is reflecting the inner because the inner has become immovable. Carry with you a sacred reminder that you can return to at any moment. Perhaps it is a small stone from a place where you once prayed for this very breakthrough. Perhaps it is a phrase whispered under your breath like a key unlocking the present moment. I am already there. Each time you touch or speak it, you return to the state that called this new life into form. Walking in the new life is not the absence of challenges. It is the presence of unshakable trust in the face of them. It is knowing that every turn, every delay, every detour is not a loss, but a redirection by divine design. You no longer measure your days by what appears in the outer world. You measure them by the alignment you feel within. Even the smallest acts take on a sacred tone. Drinking your morning coffee becomes a communion with peace. Signing your name becomes an act of authority over your life. Stepping outside becomes a reminder that the same sun lighting the path is the same sun that warmed your dream into reality. If moments of doubt try to creep in, and they will, do not fight them with fear. Instead, step back into your commitment practice. Speak the words, feel the truth, see the vision. This is not about forcing belief. It is about returning to it, over and over, until it becomes the ground you walk on without thought. The law of the tongue reminds us that words are creative forces. Every sentence you speak is a seed, and the garden of your new life depends on the seeds you choose. Let your speech be saturated with what you choose to see. Speak as though the blessing is not coming, but is here. Speak as though every day you are walking deeper into your inheritance. You are no longer the person who waits for proof before moving forward. You are the one who moves forward and watches proof appear at every step. This is divine confidence, not arrogance, not pride, but the quiet certainty that your path is lit from within. There will be days when the road curves, when fog settles over the horizon. In those moments, remember, the sun is still there, the path is still clear, and the supply is still sure. Trust does not need perfect visibility. Trust needs only the memory of light. With every sunrise, recommit to this walk. Recommit to being the traveler who knows they are never alone. Recommit to co-creating with the infinite, not from desperation but from delight. Each step is both the journey and the arrival. Each breath is both the prayer and the answer. And so, we close with the affirmation that will become your daily compass. I walk in my good. I live in my blessing. My path is clear, and my supply is sure. Let this be the vibration you carry into the world. Let it echo in the way you speak, in the way you move, in the way you see yourself. Your life will never be the same because you have stepped into the place where blessings are not pursued, they are lived. This is the walk of the fulfilled, the walk of the aligned, the walk of the one who knows that the same power that brought the breakthrough will sustain it. You are not returning to the old life. You are carrying this light into every moment, into every choice, into every breath. And, from this day forward, the road ahead is open, the horizon is clear, and the traveler is free.